What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. Here's a book, The American Nations, or Outlines of Their General History, Ancient and Modern, including the whole history of the Earth and mankind in the Western Hemisphere, the philosophy of American history, the annals, traditions, civilization, language, etc. Alright, Rafinique. So 1783 to 1840, Rafinique. Okay, we're going to turn page 32. Alright, let me get focused here. Thus, it is a positive fact that many ancient nations of the East, such as the Libyans, Moors, Etruscans, and the Phoenicians, Hindus, etc., had heard of America or knew nearly as much of it as we did of Australia and Polynesia 100 years ago. It is as certain that America contained, anciently, as even now, a crowd of distinct nations and tribes, some of which were quite civilized, perhaps as much as the Spaniards led by Columbus, the other more barbarous, but not entirely savage. There were but few, if any, real savages in America, dwelling in woods without social ties. Most of them were wandering tribes of fishermen or hunters. There were formerly in America, as now, tribes of all complexions, as elsewhere: yellowish, olive, coppery, tawny, reddened, brown, incarnate, or white, and even blackened or Negro-like. Okay, these are all Negroes. Tall and dwarfish men from 8 to 4 feet in size, called giants and pygmies. Men with various frames, skulls, and features, all of the sorts found in the Eastern Hemisphere. The Americas had long before Columbus large cities built of stones, bricks, or wood, with walls, ditches, temples, palaces, some of which were of immense size and population. One of them, the Ortolan, near the Palenque, was 28 miles long, equal to Thebes, Babylon, and Kenojo in size and monuments. All right, I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to go further on. I'm going to go further on. And I'm going to read this part, okay? Nearly all the ancient sciences and useful primitive arts were known in America, as well as commerce and navigation, symbolic and alphabetic writing, nearly all the Asiatic religions, etc. The most civilized nations had even colleges and universities, canals, and paved roads, splendid temples and monuments, etc. I've said this before about America, that we had brick roads and little highways that travel about throughout various places here in America. I've said that over and over again. I'm going to go even further down. And I want to emphasize this, all right? Because this information is in your face, but unfortunately, your Pan-Africans, man, they just locked in. You brought over your slaves. You are indigenous people of this land. Let's go down here. If I can get it clearly. I'm going to read right here. All the kinds of government were known in America: theocracy, despotism, monarchy, oligarchy, and democratic. Right? But the most prevailing were theocracy among the civilized nations, oligarchy among the barbarous nations, with two particular modifications of double kings as among Arabs, civil and military, and chiefs of families or tribes, as among all primitive nations. Queens were known to but few tribes. although the female line was often hereditary. Written laws and codes were known to the Toltecas, the Mexicans, the Mayans, the Muyacas, the Panos, and Peruvians, etc. Oral laws were elsewhere preserved by priests or magistrates. Okay. Polygamy prevailed among some tribes or castes, but was not universal. The four castes of Indians and distinctly found in nearly all the civilized nations, often modified into priests, nobles, vassals, and slaves. The arts of music, medicine, smithery, painting, sculpture, architecture, and agriculture, pottery, etc. were well known to nearly all. The sciences of geometry, geography, botany, astronomy, etc. were cultivated from Mexico to Peru, even taught in schools and colleges, with the arts, the laws, the rights, and history of the country. Okay? I said it over and over again. We had various different sciences here. We had different, they smited iron over here. We had different languages over here. You know, we had the various different things that you had in other parts of the world. We had over here in America, but unfortunately, we were taught that America was this wasteland, and then Columbus founded in 1492, which is ridiculous. But that's that message taught to you by white folks, and unfortunately, Negro scholars continue on with their foolishness, saying that we were just brought over here as slaves, and they continue to say that mess that we came over here, we're descendants of West Africans. When I said this before, we don't even look like them. We're descendants of the Aboriginal blacks who are already here, and black Europeans were expelled out of Europe. I said this over and over. I'm going to keep saying this. We're not descendants of West African slaves. That's a lie. All right, that's a lie. That's misinformation. And unfortunately, you have many people who are so-called educated still pushing and teaching that mess. But your information, your true history is right in front of your face. But you got to research it, man. The information is there. But you're going to have to do some serious research. I say this over and over again, but you're going to have to really, 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 really dig, man. You can't Google. You listen to, like I said, an idiot like Angel Mears Jordan, or you listen to Umar Johnson. You know, Angel Google stuff, and Umar just go by what modern day scholars been pumping out, or what he read from Dr. Ben or Dr. John Clark. Now, you got to go deeper than that, man, because a lot of things they said was wrong. But you're gonna have to do the individual research yourself. You can't rely on other people, man. You're gonna have to do this yourself, and it's fulfilling and it's rewarding, but it's also, you're gonna have to really do some digging if you want the real truth. All right, brothers and sisters, if you want the real truth, you're going to have to do some digging. You're going to really have to do some digging for your true history, because this stuff has basically been buried. You have the kingdoms of the black kingdoms of Florida, them black kings, man, they jet black with thick ass afros, man. And then they show some of them by alligators, or basically standing on alligators, or sitting on alligators. You know, this is our history, and it's really frustrating that I continue to hear people talking about just African slave trade. It's disgusting when I'm starting to hear this, because this information is there. There's brothers and sisters like myself who've done the research, who know the truth, who know our true history. I can't listen to that Pan-African stuff no more. I can't listen to it. It's because it's tiring, it's sickening, because we all are not just African. We are a makeup of various different black groups globally, but particularly here in North America, of the Aboriginal blacks who are already here. Some of them came in from South America, mixed in with the Aboriginal blacks here in North America. And then you had some blacks, like I said, from Europe who was expelled. You also had some black Asiatics who came over here too. It's very different black populations here. I can't forget about the ones in the Pacific Islands. It was constant movement. It was constantly traveling through boats, using boats, catching wind currents. All right? And the wind currents would blow them in certain directions. They had to sail. The sail would go up. The wind would blow. They also as the sail, the currents would flow in certain directions. So it'll pull in a certain way. So it may not pull you straight like from a straight line, but it'll pull you like maybe in like sort of like a circular motion. But the wind currents will pull you in certain directions. This information is there. You're going to have to do the research. You can't listen to these Pan-African scam artists, because that's what they are. They haven't done the real research. They haven't studied our true history. They don't know. And many of them don't care, because they sit up there and they have these racist individuals from these other groups deny our history and just say that we're descendants of African slaves. That is a lie, man. I'm telling you, that is a lie. That is a lie. And I don't support that museum in Washington, D.C. that talks about our history started with slavery. That's insulting. That's a lie. All right? And this is from the book, The American Nations, or the Outlines of Their General History, Ancient and Modern, including the whole history of the earth and mankind in the Western Hemisphere, the philosophy of American history, the annals, traditions, civilization, language, etc. All right? Check it out. Peace and love, brothers and sisters.